Yo, what's up YouTube? I moved to Japan 2 years ago, but sometimes I miss good old Deutschland. So today we're gonna explore the 5 things that are better in Germany and that I thoroughly miss. And I promise you, it's not gonna be anything stereotypical like bread, liquid bread, Autobahn, sausages, sauerkraut, Lederhosen, football, pretzels, Oktoberfest, or yodeling. Not that anyone really misses yodeling. No, I want to dive deeper and give you 5 things that you can only miss if you really lived in Germany. Stay tuned to the end because there will be a little bonus point that's not 100% specific to Germany only, but I still wanted to talk about. So you're in for a surprise. Make sure to smash the like button. One little click for you, humongous help for me. Let's start with one of the reasons why I actually came to Japan. Food. Now you might be thinking, what the hell are you talking about? Japanese food is the best in the world. You want to compare it to sauerkraut? You promised us to not talk about bread. After all, you really love your potatoes? No, calm down. Well, Japanese food is certainly great, and Japanese beef is probably 50% the reason I moved to Japan. There's one food I truly miss in Tokyo and I couldn't find for a reasonable price. And of course, I'm talking about gyros. Some juicy, mouth-watering gyros with fresh onions on top of it and some cold homemade tzatziki. Çok güzel. Çok güzel. Now, of course, there are some Greek restaurants in Japan, but they tend to be what in Germany are the Italian restaurants. Fancy-mancy places with tiny portions that demand you to sell your kidney if you want to get full. But as you know from my channel, I'm a gluttonous fat ass who needs a mountain of meat to be satisfied. And Greek restaurants are pretty well known to have huge portion sizes for a good budget. And also all Balkan restaurants, so Croatian, Serbian, I love you all. Similar to gyros, doner kebab, which actually is probably the #1 dish in Germany. You can get world-class doner kebab at every corner for around $3. Pizza. Another thing, I don't want to spend $25 on a stone oven pizza. Heck, even Domino's in Japan is like $20 for one pizza. But in Germany, you can get good pizza for around 7 or 8 euro. And don't get me started on the cheese. Now, this is a supermarket issue, but getting good cheese in Japan is really hard. And again, you have to spend a fortune on it. And most affordable Japanese cheese is just some weird chemical cocktail that would probably mutate if you leave it alone for long enough. But yeah, it's kind of ironic. I came to Japan for the food, only to realize that I miss food. Next thing on the list, Breitensport, which is organized amateur sports. But now this is true for most of Europe, but you can exercise your favorite sport for a very, very cheap price. For example, you can join a local basketball team and pay a membership fee of around 150 to 200 euros for a whole year, and you get to practice 2 or 3 times a week on a fixed schedule. Additionally, there's even amateur league play on the weekends, so you can satisfy the competitor in you and feel like a king if you drop 50 on that 14-year-old kid that already plays with adults and will make it to the NBA and laugh about you in 10 years. These sports clubs are also a fantastic way to connect with people if you move to a new city, if you're a foreigner and came to Germany, or if you're just a super introvert and have trouble finding friends. It's going to be much easier to connect with those people because you already share a hobby. Now, obviously there are sports facilities here in Tokyo, but everything is just much pricier. You basically have to pay the gym every time you play, so it racks up the cost real quick. I guess I'm just too poor and I need more money. On top of that, many Japanese gyms have this bonkers policy that you have to pay a sign-up fee. Like, what the fuck is that? I once went bouldering, and not only was the bouldering like 3,000 yen, but I had to pay an additional 2,000 yen just to sign up in that gym, even though I didn't want to be a member. Yeah, Japanese people really know how to rip you off with a friendly "Arigatou gozaimasu, yoroshiku onegaishimasu." Same things with gyms. I pay like 7,500 yen a month, and my gym is decent, but it's still, well, tiny. I get that space is limited in Tokyo, but if you're used to those spacious multi-floor gyms for $20 a month, you start missing it. For all the shit that German people give McFit, it's a fantastic gym. Alright, before we move to the next point, I'd like to know what your favorite sport is and how much it costs to perform it in your country. Alright, next on the list, something for the king of games, board game culture. Now, with most Japanese apartments being the size of a closet, it's kinda hard to invite people for a big board game party. So people in Japan usually don't meet at their homes, but go to bars to feed their inner alcoholic. No, seriously, Japan has a huge alcohol problem. But that's a topic for another day, and I just want to play some wholesome board game. Well, at least it starts wholesome. But let me tell you, my favorite board game of all, Monopoly. Yep, that's right, the game where you rip off your friends and make them your biggest enemy. Now, jokes aside, Germany has a long history in board games, and chances are that your favorite board game is actually from Germany. Not only do people in Germany play board games at their home, but there's sometimes even our board game bars, where you can rent the board game and have a couple of drinks, play maybe darts and billiard, and then smash your beer bottle on their head because they beat you. Now, luckily I do have some friends in Japan that like board games, but overall the culture is a little different in that regard. By the way, what's your favorite board game? Alright, the next point on the list are outdoor cafes and ice cream parlors. Now again, there are a lot of fancy cafes in Tokyo that my cheap ass cannot afford, so I'm just gonna shit on them. I don't want to pay 2000 yen for virgin cheesecake. I'd rather take the Chad Apfelstrudel. No, but fanciness and price aside, what I truly like about European cafes is that they are in the shopping alley of old historic towns. If you've been to any city in Europe, you know what I'm talking about. Think of the old marketplace in Prague, the Schildergasse in Cologne, or basically wherever the fuck you go in Europe. Something about sitting down outside and observing people is just fun. Observing people? I'm sorry, officer, I didn't mean it that way. You can satisfy your secret stalker desires by observing the couple next to you and figure out whether they met on Tinder or Bumble. And sometimes it's hilarious how the guy is trying to charm the girl and conquer her heart. Is he getting really touchy, or is he taking the more reserved strategy, or are they just awkwardly staring at the phone? In any case, I can sit and observe in safety and have my little giggle. Yeah, don't be like me. But I guess Germans really do like their Schadenfreude. And hell, and we should all laugh a little bit more about ourselves. In addition to observing people, you can usually enjoy some music or other street performers that you should, by the way, support if you like their performance. That's probably another thing I miss about Tokyo is the street performers. Now you can find some in Shibuya, but I guess that's pretty much the only place in Tokyo where you can find them, and usually the police comes and... So next time when you're in Europe, make sure to sit down in one of those cafes and just absorb the atmosphere. Okay, the next one is gonna be a weird one, the time zone. I truly do believe that Tokyo is in the wrong time zone. The time zone is still stuck in medieval ages where people got up at 5 AM and went to sleep at 8 PM. In Tokyo, in summer, the sun rises at 5 AM but already sets at 7 PM. Couldn't you just shift it a little over? Rise at 7 or 8, have a nice bright day until 9 or even 10 PM? Is it that hard to understand? But no, better spend the whole damn day in an office with fluorescent light just to get out and be released into the darkness. Just kidding, there's no darkness in Tokyo, there's just more fluorescent light. And while I love Blade Runner as much as you do, I sometimes miss the appreciation of natural light in Japan. Like the blinders are always closed in the office, women carrying sun umbrellas so their skin starts looking like the camembert crust, or obasans wearing a full-on hazmat suit when they're on a bicycle. Now this one is a little overblown, but I do miss the long summer nights where you can barbecue at a river with your friends and it's still bright until 10 PM. Unfortunately, Germans have to pay the price in winter where the sun rises at like 9 AM and already sets before 4 PM. Seriously, how do Scandinavian people cope with that in winter? As shitty as winters are in Germany or pretty much in all northern regions, the summers are awesome, as long as it's not raining, obviously. So as I said, this problem could be easily fixed if the Japanese time zone would shift by 2 or 3 hours, but my hopes that this will happen aren't the greatest. Are you rather a night owl or do you enjoy spending time in the sun? I for my part need to get my vitamin D, so give me more sunshine. Alright, these were my top 5 things that I missed about Germany, but I promised you one extra point. If you enjoyed the video so far, smash the like button. Let's move on. The last point, and probably the thing I miss most about Germany, are my family and friends. Now, be it discussing about the latest football match and hearing their absolute ludicrous takes, on who the better team was, doing any of the previously mentioned activities, so board games, or enjoying a nice summer sunset with a good barbecue, or watching Star Wars for the bazillionth time while getting wasted. It doesn't really matter where you create those memories, but after all, those memories will be always tied to a place and time. And as I said, I have enough reasons why I moved from Germany to Japan, but all the memories and experiences I had in Germany made me who I am now. They are literally me. So I think it's always important to treasure those moments and sometimes give in into nostalgia, as it is my favorite feeling ever. So with this, I want to give a shout out to all the people I know in real life, and I hope I can somewhat connect to you with these videos. I can wait for the pandemic to end so I can either visit you, or you finally move your sorry ass here to Tokyo so I can show you how amazing this city is. If you want to see more content about Japan, check out the videos in the cards, as I will continue making content about Japan while this channel is growing. Speaking of which, let me know how you enjoyed this style of video, if I should make more videos about cultural differences, or if you prefer more Japan focused content. I have many things planned for the future, so make sure to subscribe and see you in the next video. Sayonara.